SOC 101 Study Session 4 The Sociological Perspective Sociological Imagination Introduction The sociological imagination refers to the ability to understand the relationship between our lives as individuals and the large social forces that help shape our lives. This advocates that human behavior must be understood in a broader social context. Most societies, for instance, have a long cultural heritage which encourages self-reliance and independence. Despite the heritage of self-reliance in these societies, such societies are also bound by social structure and history. According to Marx, 1978, he argued that men make their own history, but they do not make it just as they please. They do not make it under circumstances chosen by themselves, but under circumstances directly found, given and transmitted from the past. In this lecture, we shall consider what the sociological imagination is, and then examine its importance in understanding human behavior and society in general. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this study session, you should be able to define and use correctly all of the keywords printed in bold. You should also briefly discuss applications of the sociological imagination and enumerate and discuss the three components of the sociological imagination. What is the sociological imagination? According to C. Wright Mills, 1959, people do not usually define their personal problems in terms of historical change and institutional contradictions. Also, people do not usually think of the connection between the patterns of their own lives and the course of world history. Mills holds that people live out biographies in the context of world events that are in turn determined by historically specified conditions. This also means that the lives of individuals and the course of world history are understood simultaneously. Mills defines sociological imagination as a vivid awareness of the relationship between experience and the wider society. Mills, 1959. Applications of the sociological imagination. There are various situations and instances where the sociological imagination can be applied. Its usefulness in enhancing the comprehension of social reality is widely recognized. For instance, those who teach courses in social problems report using the sociological imagination as expressed through films to teach about war, to aid students in adopting a global perspective, and to confront the issues of race relations. Sharon, 2000. Components of the sociological imagination. In brief, the sociological imagination describes the mindset for doing sociology. This stress being able to connect individual experiences with social relationships. The three components that form the sociological imagination are: 1. History. This emphasizes how a society came to be and how it is changing, coupled with how history is being made in it. 2. Biography. This unearths human nature in a society, showing what kinds of people inhabit a particular society. And lastly, social structure. This shows how the various institutional orders in a society operate, which ones are dominant, how they are held together, and how they might be changing. Mills asserts that a critical task for sociologists is to translate private troubles into public issues, which is something that is very difficult for ordinary citizens to do. Sociologists then rightly connect their autobiographical personal challenges to social institutions. Social scientists should then connect those institutions to social structures and locate them within a historical narrative. Study session summary. 1. The concept of sociological imagination was examined in this lecture. It was described as a mindset for doing sociology. It involves the translation of private troubles into public issues. In this lecture, three components such as history, biography, and social structure of the sociological imagination were discussed. End of study session 4. Thank you for listening.